Hello all, I've got a little something different for you here today. This is not a tournament's result calculator spreadsheet, but it's a tea time planner spreadsheet. And it's for those of you who may take responsibility for coordinating weekend tea times for a group of golfers and know how difficult it is, much like herding cats, to figure out who's playing and who isn't playing and making the appropriate amount of tee times in advance so that when everybody shows up, there's a slot for them to play in. I've used this for many years for my little group of golfers, and I find it very helpful, and I hope you do too. I am going to show you how this works. Right now I'm on the Notes tab of the spreadsheet, and these notes here are something for you to refer back to. I'm going to talk about everything in here, but you can refer back to these for specifics of what I mentioned. One thing that I want to talk about first, though, is this paragraph here that says what you want to do with this sheet is post it out on a Microsoft OneDrive, much like a Google Drive, and create a link to it to share for anybody. And you want to make that link shareable to anybody because you don't want to have everybody, that all your group of golfers have to have Microsoft accounts. If you feel that you want to make it more secure, or lock it down to just your golfers, then yeah, you would have to ask them to set up accounts and restrict it to just them. But I've always just opened it up to anybody and shared the link with those people that need it, and that's secure enough for purposes here. And once it's out on OneDrive and they have the link, they can just go to that link. They don't need Excel. The spreadsheet will open in a browser and they can edit and put in their information. I'll show you what we expect your players to put in, but they can update their information themselves. So that's the point of this. They have to keep track of when they're playing, when they're not playing, and it's there for you ahead of time, and you can work off of their entries to make the appropriate tee times. So without further ado, let's go into the sheet itself. First of all, up here in the top, this is where this is a generic sheet, so you set the year for what you want when you're playing it. So this is set for 2022, and it automatically fills in the dates for weekends for every month. Now you see that every month has 10 days in it. It just made it easier for me to fill out this sheet automatically when you change the dates. And not every month has 10 weekend days in it. And for those months that have less than 10 days, like February 2022, I just blank out the days that don't have the full 10 weekend days in it. And you'll also see that it blacks out the dates that have already passed, so that it makes it easier to see what your players have to put in their information. So for instance, if I change this to 2021, it's all going to black out because we're past all the dates on 2021. But if I make it 2023, it's wide open through January, and as you can see, right out through December. Okay, so back to 2022. So how this works is, you have your players entered over here, and I'm just going to use my typical letters for players. I've got this one set for 8 players. This will accommodate 24 players. or 20 players, I'm sorry, so 5 groups, 5 foursomes. And they change color for every foursome, and I'll show you why. There's an explanation of that here, but I'll show you how you'll want to maybe use that. So, so what you want the players to do is to go in, at least 72 hours ahead of time and enter whether or not they're playing. And I say 72 hours because you typically have to give the pro shop enough time. You want to get in there, make tee times or adjust your tee times depending on who's playing and who isn't playing. So you might want to make tee times for all your players and then go in 72 hours ahead of time, adjust it up, down accordingly if somebody's not going to be playing. So in this case, we've got 8 players. So let's say, so you would enter the tee times. Let's say you make a tee time at 7 a.m. Oops, sorry, 7 a.m. and 7:10 a.m. And when you make a new line in a cell, I don't know if you're aware of this in Excel, you hit Alt Enter. If you hit Enter, obviously it's just going to make the entry into the cell, and you're going to move on to the next cell. If you hit Alt Enter, it's a new. It creates a new line, and that's noted in the notes section too. So then you'd show 7:10. So you've got 2 tee times in here, 7 and 7:10. So player A may be playing, so he would enter a yes or Y, and it doesn't have to be capitals, it can be lowercase also. A, B, C, oops, I'm sorry, put C. A, B, C, and D are all playing. I keep putting the player's letter in there instead of a Y. And let's say they're all playing. And you can see they're color-coded as the names were. And that means that, you've got 2 foursomes, and that's fine. So now let's say that player E is not going to play, so you put an N, and he puts an N in, and let's say player F is not going to play, they put an N in. And let's say player D is not going to play. So now you have 7 people playing. I'm sorry, 5 people playing. And you can see at the bottom it keeps track of the number of Ys, number of players that have said they're going to play. So there's 5 people playing. So you kind of got an odd tee time there. You've got a foursome and a onesome. So, I don't know how you want to deal with that with the pro shop, but now let's say player C decides they're not playing either. So what I would do in this case is change these 2 colors to blue, and that way players G and H know they're playing at the 7 o'clock tee time. If you had multiple tee times, you can change the formatting of these to blue, and then players G and H know that they're playing again in the 7 o'clock tee time, because blue is the top tee time, red is the second from the top, third black, purple, and red in order accordingly. So that's how that works, and the explanation of what players can enter in the cells is here. They can enter a Y if they're playing. They can enter a Y plus 1. Maybe they're bringing a guest. They can enter anything up to a Y plus 9. And that's explained down here in this line, and you'll see down below that there's 12 people playing here, because it's 9 guests and the 2 players. I mean 10 guests and the 2 players. And then you'd have to, again, adjust accordingly depending on who else is playing. So I hope that makes sense. What else you can do is they can enter Ys or Ns, obviously. Sometimes you may have a tournament, and they may just enter a T if they're playing in the tournament. And that is the same as entering an N as far as playing, you having a scheduled tee times. But a lot of times I would flag this cell as it's a tournament day, and that's why a lot of guys or players are not playing on that day. So I'd make that red, and you can see I've got some reds, and over here on the right I've got some blues, and down below it indicates what that means. And if it's highlighted in red, it means there's a tournament on that day. If it's highlighted in blue, that means it's a holiday. Those are just for your information. They don't really control anything. It's just, players will know that when they're signing up that, there may be a tournament. They may be interested in playing in a tournament rather than scheduling your regular tee time. So that's how all of this works. A lot of times, too, I'll say that some people may put a question mark in there, and that really is the same as a no, I'm not playing, but it's a question mark for their purposes to say, well, I'm considering playing, I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll go back and update it when I am positive what's going on. But again, you should stress that they need to do this at least 72 hours ahead of time. So, I hope that works. I get most of my players to put in, Ys or Ns, and for probably the month. They usually know what's going on up to the month, and then they make last-minute adjustments as necessary. Especially if they know they're going to be on vacation or whatever. They would put a no in those dates. And I think it's basically as simple as that. And then it's just up to you to keep the tee time straight with the pro shop, and it's good for them and good for you. So I hope this all helps. And if you have any questions or any comments or updates, requests, please post them and let me know, and I'd be happy to try to accommodate. All right, thanks.